you could also say that it wasn't their parents that formed their ideas or how they turned out in the end. That there's some kind of individualism there.
One last question, a practical thing. So I think the defining quality of a Greek tragedy is the presence of the chorus, right? I mean, that's what makes it a Greek tragedy, right? So those of you who were in the chorus, what was the process like of putting that together and working through this? And I was realizing, it's like, I wrote these things as sort of this stream of almost poetry or verse, and I realized, they have to memorize this in fragments, which must be exceedingly difficult. Yeah. So what was your process like as the chorus?
Oh, we did a lot of ensemble work, and just like I got to know these three girls more than anyone else here, and I mean, we did end up memorizing like the whole entire chorus part instead of just our one sentence throughout the whole thing. But I don't know, we always like got each other's back. We finish each other's sentences.
Yeah.
So.
we had to learn how we moved, how we talk. We also had to learn how we know if we're missing a line so we can like come in for another person. But we also realized that even though we're a chorus, we are separate people. So there's a line in Sean's that she agrees kind of with Creon, but my line right after hers kind of disagrees with her. Even though we're wearing the same colors, we're disagreeing. So we're all one, but then we're all separate. Yeah, we all have to learn how to respect each other and work with each other. So it's like really fun to kind of like figure that out.
We had a guest teacher come in named Kevin Honest from Elon, and he did a lot of choral work with us for his whole morning exercise. And he talked about how in a chorus, when there's like more than like 2 people or 3 people, there's room for like politics among the chorus, and the fact that like we're talking about like people who have different ideas within the chorus, and that there's discussion and politics within them in a play about politics and like people who grow up in the exact same circumstances but still have discussions with each other that are with differing opinions. Like the chorus is a reflection of all of those ideas in itself, which is super cool.
A question for the chorus, since you've got 2 Cast A and Cast B that you're working with, and you guys are with everybody, was it challenging to work with different sets of actors?
It wasn't challenging, no. Sometimes the 2 different casts do take things differently, but the only thing that was really different was the blocking. In this one, you saw the blocking, and tomorrow's night you will see that there's some different blocking, so you might have to like look a little bit more. But
just so you'll know, blocking is where the actors stand on stage.
How they move on stage. You weren't sure on stage. Sorry, how do we just stand on stage? But yeah, so it wasn't really that difficult, and also it really helps to listen to how the different characters do say things differently, so we can react to it differently. Because they say it differently, but we keep the same way we said it last night. It's not gonna be coherent, so we have to really listen. But it's not that hard after that.
We really have to listen. It's not that hard. Well, it looks like if nobody else has questions, yes.
I just got one statement, a small cast, but a huge performance.
Yesterday, and the day before, and the day
Last
before,
week, and the week before, 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 and the week before.
How far back can you remember?
How far back does it go?
Can you remember yesterday?
Last year, 10 years ago?
Do you remember the day you were born? Do you?
But we must go back further.
Your parents, grandparents, before.
Before the city you lived in existed.
Before the country you lived in existed.
Before the things you think of as ancient existed.
Before muskets and powdered wigs.
Before castles and knights.
Before plagues and cathedrals.
Before barbarians and Romans. Before.
When all that you know had yet to happen.
In that silence before.
Sophocles wrote a play.
This play has existed longer than anything you know.
It was ancient to Shakespeare and Newton.
It was ancient to Cleopatra and Caesar.
It was ancient to Christ and Muhammad.
It spoke to all of them and speaks to you today.
How? How can something so old?
2,450 years old.
How can it speak today?
How can it still mean anything?
It speaks still because it speaks the truth.
The truth.
The truth.
The truth, and truth is eternal.
Truth, like gold, cannot rust.
Truth like gold cannot tarnish.
Truth like gold is precious from age to age to age.
It speaks of the poison of power
And the triumph of love.
and the arrogance of authority.
And the passion of youth.
It says that adults are often wrong.
And that you are often right.
It says that you can change the world.
Although the cost is great.
It tells us that truth is eternal.
We invoke you, Zeus and Athena.
Invoke you, Dionysus.
In the words of those who believe.
Invoke your story and your song.
Be with us now as you were there in Greece.
2,000 years ago.
It is dawn. In Thebes.
And a dead body lays on the ground.
It's Beanie! It's Beanie! Come on, you said you'd be here. It's Beanie! It's Beanie! It's Beanie! Come on! I'm up! It's 6 a.m. What is wrong with you, Antigone?
I was worried you would come.
You're crazy. You know that, right? My sister is a crazy!
Joke. Our brothers are dead.
I know that. You think I don't know that? It's 6 a.m. For God's sake.
For God's sake, yes. Yes, exactly.
You told me to be here. I'm here. Now what's going on?
Did you see what our aunt did? What Creon did?
Official announcement, declaration of martial law.
Our brother Antigone will be buried with full honors, while our other brother,
Polynices will be left unburied and unmourned, left to rot in the sun, she means. To be eaten by dogs and rats and vultures,
he was our brother.
who died in battle, killing our other brother.
They were both guilty, each shot by the other. The triggers pulled at the same time, fighting over the crown, the stupid crown, over power. Why did they need power?
Creon's a better ruler anyway. She's rational, she's organized.
She said that if anyone tries to bury Polynices, they'll be put to death.
Yes.
Our brother whose soul will wander eternally, unless he's buried as the gods demand.
But Creon has a point. Polynices raised an army. He was invading the city. He was blowing up buildings and buses. If he's buried, there will be other attacks.
But it's not fair. When Dad died and Creon took over, Creon said that when our brothers turned 18, they'd share power. And
I know this, Antigone. It's 6 a.m.
And when Antigone took the throne last year, he was supposed to give it to Polynices this year. He didn't. He wouldn't step down. He broke his word. He started it.
He started it. Antigone, they aren't third graders. People died because of Polynices.
People died on both sides. That's how war works.
An example. An example has to be made. Otherwise, the war is never going to end. There's always going to be someone with a bomb unless they see the consequences. See his body rotting there. See it.
I see.
Do you?
I see you're not going to help me.
What do you mean?
Our brother's soul will never rest. The gods themselves will turn their noses from the stench of his corpse if we leave him unburied.
What do you mean, we?
Who else will do it?
You can't be going to bury him.
Why else would I have asked you to meet me here?
Antigone, this isn't a joke.
You're right.
I know that you loved Polynices. I know that he was your favorite.
No, I loved Antigone more. Polynices was horrible to me. He was my brother.
The sentence is death. You know, Creon, she doesn't play around.
You won't help me.
I mean, she probably wouldn't have you killed. You're her niece, but she would have you arrested. She would put you in prison.
No, she'll have me killed. She loves the law more than she loves me. More than she loves anyone.
And don't you love the law? Don't you love our city? Don't you love the peace and the prosperity that the law has made?
The law serves the people, not the other way around. The law is supposed to protect justice, and unjust law should be overthrown, even if it makes some people peaceful and prosperous.
Those are very nice words, Antigone, but we're talking about prison. We're talking about death, even.
That's why I'm going to stop talking and do something.
Why us? Why is it always us? Why is our family always in the crosshairs?
We're the royal house of Atreus, the royal family of Thebes.
exiled. Then our mother, who killed herself when she learned our father's true identity. Our brothers, dead by the other's hands. Our birth was a catastrophe, and we've been dogged by suffering ever since. Why should we invite more pain? Haven't we done enough?
All right, I understand.
Antigone, please.
No, I'm not angry. You're right. We've had a very hard life. We've mourned the loss of our mother, exiled with our blind father. We've lived through war and chaos. We shouldn't have to suffer more.
Thank you. Thank you for understanding.
So I'll do it myself.
Antigone, that's not what
I don't need your help. I can carry a shovel and say the prayers on my own. I can die on my own.
You won't.
I will. I know Creon as well as you do, and I shall rest. Rest with both my brothers, sinless in my crime. For I owe a longer allegiance to the dead than to the living.
Listen to yourself. All of these words, they're just words.
Not for long.
Think of Haman. Haman, he loves you.
No. I can't think of him too. I can't face leaving him too.
Listen, I'm older than you. I'm smarter than you. You have always been impulsive and impatient.
Then make an argument! Please, explain to me why it is right a brother's soul should wander eternally. Eternally. Explain to me why love and fairness and the will of the gods themselves should be thrown under the wheels of the government. Please, give me some reason. Do you think I want to die?
Antigone, I'm so sorry, Antigone.
Goodbye, Ismene. Please don't tell anyone. They'll find out soon enough.
You don't have to do this.
I do, though. I do.
Ismene is right.
Their family has suffered more than any other.
Maybe even heard of their suffering.
Echoing down for thousands of years,
Their father, Oedipus, unknowingly.
killed his father and married his mother.
Ew. Whose greatest sin was asking questions.
Who eventually learned the truth,
And stabbed out his own eyes before.
who wandered, exiled, for the rest of his life, guided by his daughters Ismene and Antigone.
His sons, Polynices and Antiochus, couldn't be bothered.
They were too busy fighting power for the kingdom of Thebes that now lacks a ruler. They were too young to rule. So their aunt, Creon, took over,
Creon, who loves order,
who worships peace and quiet,
and under girdle the passion of Oedipus,
was replaced by calm and rigor.
the streets are clean, change their own time.
She made a plan
When the sons of Oedipus were old enough, Antiochus would take the crown.
for a year, 1 year.
Then it would go to Polynices. Then back to Antiochus, 1 year at a time.
Clean and clear and organized.
But after his years, Antiochus learned to love power.
More than justice.
He refused to give him a crown.
Polynices went to the Argive army.
The ancient enemies of Thebes. With them, he planned a campaign of terror.
Which turned into all-out war.
And then, just yesterday morning,
Antiochus and Polynices,
Shot each other through the heart.
their aim was the only thing they could ever share.
Creon again has taken the crown.
And the terrible task of rebuilding the city.
Her first action was to bury Antiochus
To uphold the honor of the crown.
and to let Polynices rot. Unburied him.
A warning to all who would raise.
Arms against thieves.
But the gods are watching.
Zeus, Athena, Dionysus.
Those we invoked. They have said that a body must be buried, a soul must be put to rest. For the gods watch, hating Creon.
For loving quiet more than truth.
True,
True.
true. And just as Oedipus suffered,
For going against their will.
so too will Creon suffer.
Soon.
But first, someone else must suffer.
Haman, her only son, only 17,
He loves Antigone.
Loves her as deeply.
as only a 17-year-old can.
She is everything to him. And she is about to say goodbye.
Oh, Antigone, there you are. Didn't you get my texts? It's been crazy here all morning. I was worried about you. Antigone?
I'm here.
Antigone, you're crying. What's wrong?
I'm going to be crying for a while.
Why? What?
Except, I don't think I have much time left to cry.
Thank you for coming out this morning. I know, a press conference seems so pointless after the atrocities of the last 2 months. But I'm confident that a strong hand now will secure the future for all of us. And when we mourn our great young leader, Eteocles, I know he wants us to move on with the process of rebuilding Thebes. Such are the rules by which I guard the city's greatness.
I know you're hurting. I know you loved your brother.
My brothers were petty warmongers who got off playing with their guns and their bombs. They were spoiled brats who never learned how to share. They should have never been let out of kindergarten.
And what's wrong?
They're still dead, aren't they?
What do you want me to say?
My family is dead. Mother, father, brothers. All I have left is Ismini, and she hates me.
Hates you. She loves you.
Not now.
What do you mean?
Have you ever had to do something you didn't want to do? Didn't know if you could do?
Yes, I think so.
And then you find out you can do it, only it's worse than you thought it would be. Worse than you thought it could be.
Antigone, please, you're not making any sense. You're worrying me.
I'm sure you all understand how difficult it was for me to leave my own nephew, the traitor, unburied, to declare martial law, soldiers on every corner, the police, and riot gear. I hate that Thebes has come to this, even more than you. But I am confident that a strong hand now will secure the future for all of us. Such are the rules by which I guard our city's greatness.
It's horrible what my mom's doing. Leaving the bodies unburied and then a death sentence.
Don't. Please don't talk about it. Just hold them.
Do you believe it about the whole gods and souls? And do you believe your brother's soul?
Yes. I have seen the gentle bow of Iris of dawn, and I've seen the terror of Zeus's lightning. I have known love and beauty and laughter, and there's something more than mortal about these things. I wish there weren't. But I feel the presence of greatness, and it says there's a job I must do, no matter the cost, no matter, hold me.
Now, are there any questions from the press?
Creon! Are you aware the god Polynices has been buried?
What? What?
Creon! Put it already on the news!
Everyone will see it.
What?
Your hands are dirty, Antigone. Why?
What you're saying is impossible. There were guards stationed.
I love you. Have I ever told you that?
No, not the words.
Creon! Video on the early morning hour shows dirt heaps on the corpse. Not much, a few handfuls of soil.
I love you.
What did you do?
Oh, well, you made me nervous there. That's surely just the work of wild dogs or rats. The natural process is...
But it was strewn in the patterns and places consistent with the holy burial.
That is not possible. I declared it. I made it law. Law. If anyone touches the corpse...
The body was laid out. The arms were crossed and posed at rest.
that they would be put to death.
What did you do?
The body was cold. I thought there would be blood, but it had all drained away or congealed. It was so cold.
Creon! Comments on the video that this is the will of the gods.
The gods. The gods. You think Zeus came down?
A miraculous intervention.
Zeus? What? You think Zeus came down to bury him? What? As a reward for his loyal service? Polynices, who came to burn his shrines, steal his sacred treasures, scatter his laws to the winds? The gods reward that?
We'll run away. The pack bags will be gone
No.
for a month.
We're only reporting what some people are saying.
Then some people do not deserve the right to speak. This, do you see, this is what brings a nation to its knees. To suggest that the gods honor the wicked, the gods protect the betrayer. I know the will of the gods. Listen to me.
Get away.
And she'll do it again. She'll desecrate
She'll do
the
it
corpse.
anyway.
And she'll do worse in the
She'll do
future.
it anyway.
So someone needs to stand up to her now.
No, this is no act of the gods. This was an act of betrayal, of cowardly betrayal.
I started the journey. Now I have to finish it.
And I tell you this now, my friends.
If I run away, it's as if I never buried him at all.
I will find the criminal,
I did the act.
and
there will be consequences.
Antigone, please, I love you.
No more questions.
I love you.
Please don't say that. Please don't make this harder.
I'm trying to save you. I won't stop trying to save you.
It's too late. I promise it's too late.
She's right. Because this isn't a regular story. This is a tragedy, and a tragedy has rules.
A tragedy is not a story where bad things happen.
It is a story where what must happen happens.
The gods lay out the path.
And there is no fighting it.
It only gets worse if you fight it.
We march from point A to B to C.
Zeus, Athena, Dionysus.
Those being moved to spare their wrath.
It is a machine,
Ceaseless and unchanging.
Gleaming and well-oiled.
in perfect order since time began.
It is not messy.
Sadness is messy. Unpredictable.
The hero
might have done this.
The villain might have done that.
It might have been okay after all.
No.
There are no minds in childhood.
There is no escape.
There is no escape. The path is set. The machine is oiled and ready.
The path is determined. There's no escape. No choice you can make would matter.
The machine is patient. It needs not rush. You'll see it soon. There is no escape.
But there is a moment when, if you're smart, you realize this is no mere melodrama. This is a tragedy. And the moment you realize, you are free.
Because there is no hope.
You will die.
Or if not to die,
Then something worse than death.
There is no hope.
you cannot change it.
And because you can't,
You need not bargain.
You need not beg,
you can be brave as you never were.
for the worst has already happened. No.
You can't stop it.
So you say those things you never did.
Not because they will save you.
Nothing so petty as that.
You say these things because they must be said.
No more whimpering, no more tears.
You shout and scream the deadly truth.
The machine is perfect.
Jesus and unchanging.
And you are a bomb.
In the heart of the machine.
What have you done?
I buried my brother.
What have you done?
I posted the pictures. I told thieves that Polynices had been buried. It's amazing what you can say in 140 characters.
Do you have any idea what you've done?
Do leaders become masters of this world by continually repeating themselves?
Sorry. I'm sorry, I lost my temper.
I didn't know you had a temper. You always look so calm on TV.
Prideful little brat. You thought I wouldn't do it? Wouldn't put you to death? It's the law, Antigone, the law.
No, I knew you put me to death.
Well, I have to now. After what you've done, broadcasting it to the whole world, everyone knows now. Everyone sees. It'll be the end of the government if I look weak.
Is that all that keeps the state running? How calm you look?
Or no, wait, if you take it back, repent on television, we'll have a press conference, you'll explain you were confused.
No.
Don't you see, you ungrateful child? It's the only way I can save you. It was the law.
Did Zeus write the law? Did Athena? Dionysus?
The gods. You bring up the gods now?
I bring up what I believe.
Shows just how foolish you are. Nothing more than a child.
I'm 16.
A child. Caught up in things so beyond your years. Listen, Antigone, listen. Whatever you believe, I have a city to govern. I have taxes to raise and people to feed and a war to rebuild from. These are real things. These are things that must be done.
Must they?
Just like your father. A romantic. But let me tell you, running a nation isn't romantic. It isn't about ideas and ideals. It's about numbers and spreadsheets and polls. About getting things done, even if it's ugly. Even if you have to cut corners. It's a job, like any other job, and someday you'll understand that.
I don't want to understand that.
Child. And I'm your aunt after all, even if we're not most affectionate family. I'll call the press conference. We'll explain, we'll uncover the body, you'll issue an apology. We can still spin this. Sorry I slapped you there.
You're going to do worse.
What do you mean?
You're going to put me to death because I'm not going to apologize. I did nothing wrong.
I'm trying to help you. I want to help you.
I don't want you to help me. I want you to bury my brother. And if you will not, then I will die.
But why? Why? Do you believe all that religious nonsense? You think what? There's some afterlife? Some theme park in the sky that Polynices won't get into unless you sprinkle dirt on his body?
It sounds stupid when you say it like that.
It is stupid. Monstrously stupid. Look, I know these so-called priests. How they go through the motions without caring, shoveling dirt into the grave while they think about dinner, saying the prayers like it's a grocery list. It's nothing. An empty show. You want to throw your life away over that?
If it's so meaningless, why won't we let him be buried?
It matters to the superstitious rabble I tried to gutter. It matters to the religious zealots of the Argive army.
Then maybe it matters to Polynices.
He's
Then
dead.
maybe it even matters to the gods. They say it does.
The gods are not here. They're not part of my government.
What else isn't part of your government? Fairness, maybe? Justice? How about truth?
Of course they have a place. But when you grow up, if you grow up and open your eyes, you'll see they are luxuries. Nice things to have, yes, but simply too costly to have every day.
No. They are the only things we exist for.
Spoken like a child. When you grow up,
I do not need to grow up!
teenagers, always so full of ideals. Look, eventually, when you realize the way the world really works, look, you're so smart. Someday you're going to make a real difference, but for now,
No. Now, we do not need to wait. That is a lie you've been telling us all our lives. We don't need a degree or a job or a driver's license even. We only need to know the truth. You say wait? There's no reason to wait. You keep putting off the world, but we live in the world too. We love and hate and die just like you do. We can stop you. All the foolish teenagers with their smartphones and their ideals.
what you're talking about is a rebellion.
Yes! Finally, I can say yes to you, yes, a rebellion.
Antigone, this is serious.
So long you kept the truth to yourself, but no more. I open my mouth and a million voices carry it. As long as I speak the truth, I can never be made solid. No, not even in death.
You want a revolution. Haven't we had enough revolution, enough blood in the streets of my city? Don't you want peace?
Not in the cause of justice.
But it's not a question of justice. Don't you see? It's all just politics. Your brothers, the armies, the burial, all just politics. It's nothing. No one believes any of it. It's just what has to be done to keep the peace.
So you admit it's wrong?
Admit it? Of course. I'm not an idiot. I don't like it any more than you. You think I like seeing a corpse rotting in the streets of my city?
It's wrong and you do it anyway.
I have to.
How strange. I don't have to do the things that I think are wrong. I don't have to sell out when you call yourself a queen.
Someone has to do it. Someone has to take control where there's war and bloodshed, just as there was under Antigone. Someone has to say, okay, I'll give up my right to what's good and pure. I'll turn my eyes away from the truth if that's what's necessary. It is a terrible price. But someone has to do it.
That we both have jobs we don't want to do.
Don't you see? Whatever you do, I'll just undo it. And you'll be dead. You won't be able to stop me.
Then someone else will do it. That's the funny thing about truth. The truth is like gold. It can't rust and it can't tarnish, and it can buy even the weakest heart.
I think you underestimate what guns can do.
Your guns haven't stopped me. There will be others.
You have great faith in this idealistic rabble of yours. But I wonder how brave they'll be when they see you killed. It's easy enough to sit and tweet or like a status and think that you're involved in something. But when it comes time to take action, get out of the chair, I wonder how many of your friends will do anything more than scroll through their feed and shake their heads.
I don't know. I'm taking action. They may too.
That's a risk you're willing to take? They'll rise up when they see your body rotting in the streets next to your brothers? When your soul, if you believe so much in such things, is trapped and haunted just as his, you're willing to risk it? To wager your immortal soul on the bravery of a bunch of kids?
I guess we'll find out.
Aren't you afraid it will backfire? That your death will only make them more afraid? Drive them further back?
Creon, you don't get it. All these arguments. I'm not doing this because it's a means to an end. I'm not doing this because if I do X, then Y will happen and Z will follow. I'm doing this because it is right. That's all. And the consequence is death.
You are your father's daughter. Just like him. You think you're being brave when all you are is prideful. Blind. Just like him.
My father saw things you could never see with your eyes so low, so focused on your bottom lines, on your poll numbers.
Alright. I will have you killed if that's what you want so badly. But first you will see. Yes, by the gods you will see. You'll see the truth you're so willing to die for. You'll see the truth about your brother.
I know already. You think I don't? Polynices was a murderer, a terrorist. He deserved to die, I know. There are probably 100 people alive right now because he died yesterday. Isn't it strange it doesn't matter to me?
Why then? Why?
Can't you imagine a life that is more than tit for tat? More than he poked me, so I'll poke him. He scratched my back, so I'll scratch his. Can't you imagine? Just imagine a life where people do things, not for what they get out of them, but because they are right, because they must be done. The gods have said a man must be buried, not only to save his soul, but because it is right. I would do it whether or not he was my brother. I would do it whether or not he was the most twisted criminal in all thieves. Because to not do it is to be just as wrong as he was.
Such fine words. You could be someone great someday.
I'm not interested in greatness, and I won't have a someday.
But that's not what I was going to say. You know Polynices was a crook. Fine, everyone knows that. The bloodshed he brought to Thebes, everyone. But what you don't know is that Antigone was just as bad. I have the proof, I've seen the documents, that he was planning on selling out Thebes to the highest bidder himself. He'd have gladly handed over the keys to the city to the Argive army too if they'd been willing to pay now.
We gave him a state funeral, a hero's burial.
He bragged to me, you know, bragged about how he hired assassins to have his brother killed before he rebelled. He had no intention of sharing the throne.
But you...
Oh, it's worse than that. Those weren't the only killers he tried to hire. He tried to have your father killed too while he wandered, blind, exiled. Tried to have me killed as well, I expect. But the thugs he hired were just as ineffective as anything else the spoiled brat tried his hands at. I'm only alive now because of his incompetence.
But you buried him in a marble vault next to my father and mother.
Yes, of course I did. I had to make a hero out of one of them. There would be civil war and chaos otherwise. There must always be a villain and a hero. A if the state falls apart, people need to know what side to be on. They can't choose for themselves.
Why are you telling me this?
That's not even the worst of it, if you hear about such things. Both of them, violent, cowardly children. They had the biggest guns they could wrap their hands around, shot off each other's faces, blew their bodies apart.